You are now listening to the National Show with Gangsterville and McGee. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. All right, No Nation. This is the National Show with Gangster Vizil and McGee. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all of our social platforms. You can find all of our stuff at our Linktree page, which is Linktree/National Show, NationolesHow. All right, y'all. Florida State ain't playing, but we still got a lot to talk about on the National Show because, you know, we just get downs like that.
That's what we do. Hey, you know, you spelled out the National Show and you ended with W and you drew it out a little. And I think that's fitting because, once again, we had a winning week with our picks, man. We're pretty good at this. We're pretty good at this. If you just bet the 3 that we agreed on, you went 2-1. We win. You know, that's good.
Every time.
The one we disagreed on. You were big on Georgia, and I rode with my Armenian brethren, and you know, that was a tough one. Great game.
That was a great game. Yeah.
But there's some news. There's some news that we got to talk about, my guy. There is some news. The ACC, the conference that Florida State has been a part of since forever, and has lately been trying to get up out of. Very different today than it was the last time we did a show. Right? If you would have told me last week when we did the episode that there was going to be a conversation, not even a contract, but a conversation between Bill Belichick and UNC about coaching their football team, I would have laughed. I would have just giggled and giggled and giggled and giggled, right? This shit's crazy to me, bro.
It's just wild, bro. But I mean, no NFL team was giving them any interviews. They wasn't giving them any smoke. It wasn't giving them any interest or whatever. And Bill Belichick is a football guy. Like, he's not a business. He's not a mascot. He's not a puppet. He's not some, bag and pony show. He is football, X's and O's. And when it's ingrained into you like that, I'm not surprised. Hell, if he wasn't coaching college, he probably coaching Pop Warner some damn well, whatever. But I think
he could have gotten the Giants job. I think he was going to be offered the Giants job. I think he knew he was going to be offered the Giants job. I don't think he wanted it. I think he recognized that as taking 2 years. That's going to take 2-3 years. Even like that's a big work, that's a lot of work, right? The Bears might have interested him, but maybe they're not interested in him,
right.
So who knows? But I mean, I don't think Jacksonville's not for him. That's not
right.
Unless he loves Trevor Lawrence, I don't think that's the spot. So I don't know.
Doug Peters is not going nowhere. I just think it's a thing. Nah, I don't. I just think it's
I think the injury probably saved his job. Trevor Lawrence being injured probably saved his job.
Yeah, I think they will probably move on to another quarterback before they get rid of Doug Peterson there or whatever, because they've had good points where they played when Trevor Lawrence has been hurt or whatever. It's just Trevor Lawrence, and it's been thinking like maybe it isn't the right coach to develop him, but Peterson has a history of developing quarterbacks. Yeah. Now it's like, is it Trevor Lawrence, which it just may well be or whatever. But as far as Bill, man, I don't think with no opportunities in the league, I think that with the way that college football is changing now, it makes more sense for him to coach now, because think about it, they can wear the helmets on the field now with the walkie-talkies in them, and then with the whole NIL process, it's more of a business, more like bringing in free agents and stuff like that or whatever. So I think, and then I feel like there was a lot of people in college reaching out to him. Look at the many sidelines that he was on just the past year or whatever. So, and they were just bringing him in like, "Hey, Bill, what do you think about this? How would you implement that?" And he probably like, "Well, hell, if
look
I
at
can
this.
tell out,
look at this.
I might as well, I can do this." You know. So yeah,
and it really is like he can sell that NFL. You know.
He's the greatest
it's an elongated
NFL.
preparation, you know, for the draft, right? He can, if you're a legitimate NFL talent, he knows what they're looking for, right? He knows how to get how you would get ready for it, right?
College football needed a GOAT. We lost a GOAT last year. We got a GOAT back this year. So hey,
and it's super lucrative. Like not just his contract, but just college football as a whole right now. And we saw it with how Dion structured his deal for him to show up and say, "Hey, this guy's. I got my staff. We're doing it like this. I'm doing it. I want this much budget for NIL. I need this. I need this. I need that." Like, you know, it's becoming the norm. You know, we're seeing the business get restructured. We're going to see parts of the you know, we're going to get investments from third parties and stuff like that. Like the parts of the business structure get sold off. We're going to see more and more of these intricate contracts, and it's going to be part of sales of some of these teams. Okay, but we'll put up the this much money to buy this much percent, but we are now in charge of your coaching search, and this is who's hiring, and we're going to see some crazy stuff over the next couple of years. I think this is just the beginning, you know.
Oh yeah, and then also, who better to develop, man? Look at he took Tom Brady, you know, 6th round, 7th round draft pick, and was able to turn him into the greatest QB of all time. Edelman and countless other receivers to come through and just be, you know, nobody until he schemed them right or whatever. So, and like you said, it's a great pipeline to the NFL. Shouldn't have any problems with recruiting. Because it's like, you know what I can do. You know what I can produce. You've seen me. Look how many Super Bowl rings I got or whatever. Like, oh, yeah. I can't wait for next year from that aspect. Coach is going to do good, man. He may get off to a slow start adjusting or whatever, but give him 2-3 years. Oh, and something else to think about.
The staff he's about to bring with him is going to be stupid, you know.
Speaking of the staff, and I forget where I heard him talk about this, but check this out. Say he's trying to get back into the NFL. All he has to do is install this process, instill a winning program, and then hand it off to his son, and boom, he's on.
Plus, he'll have an inside line on draft prep when he returns. You know.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's going to work. Honestly, I think I think he'll be effective. I think he'll adjust to the college game on field pretty easily by hiring all the right people and listening to all the right people and synthesizing that info.
A great football mind, man. At the end of the day, it's all about X's and O's, and can't nobody, you know, put him across the board as bad as Belichick, man. He's a bad man. So yeah, but that's exciting, bro. ACC,
way harder path now to get to that ACC championship to navigate. Are they on our schedule for next year? I didn't even look.
Oh, that is a great question. Because man,
if they're coming to Tallahassee, we should probably go to that game. I don't see them. So maybe we'll be playing them in the ACC championship, baby.
There it is. Could be.
Yeah. Tough for the ACC. ACC just got a lot harder.
Harder. Yeah. Hey, it's still not the SEC though.
Well, I think we're seeing, you know, more talent get spread around nationally, and where we're going to see ACC rise, especially as as we see moves like this by the universities to raise their visibility, raise their profile, get more NIL money available to their players. I think that this is a sign of good things for the ACC. If as far as it staying a conference, a viable conference, as far as the teams in the conference staying in the conference, this is a big step. This is a very big step.
Yep, got 2 teams in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, we didn't expect that. We didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about why that is. Right? So, last week we talked about this Clemson SMU game. Both of us. This is this is the one we were wrong about, right? We both liked SMU to cover the 2.5 points. We thought they were going to win handily, actually, and they started down. They came back. I thought I thought they were gonna end. I thought we were right. For most of that game, I thought we were right. I really did.
Same here, man. It just shows the experience Dabo has as a coach, the experience that their team has, or whatever. That team has that type of continuity within them. The players that's been there for years. That's like, this is Clemson football. We can't let SMU come in here and you know what I mean?
Hey, and in a small way, I appreciate that. I can say I was rooting for SMU to be disruptors because I'm a fan of disruption. It's a thing that's been a part of me since I was born. For some reason, I like to stir shit up. All right, they in previous generations would have referred to me as like a rabble rouser, right? Like I like causing chaos, right? So I was definitely cheering for SMU to be like the new kids on the block, show up. We don't even need your money. We just want access, right? And show up and win first year. I thought it was great, but at the same thing, like I can appreciate the fact that someone from the SEC just kind of bowed up, even if it was just enough, right at the last minute, and they said, "No, you're new here. You don't get to just waltz right in." And so I can really appreciate that.
Yeah. Like you said, I was rooting for them or whatever. It's just what showed up on the field. You got to respect, man. The way them Clemson team stood up that second half and, came back and handled their business or whatever. And like we say, bowled up or whatever. That's the shit you can't teach, man. That's, what I'm saying? Will, that's determination, that fight, that dog in you. They showed it, man. But I still think it worked out for the better because, hell, SMU is still one of the teams from the ACC that's going to the playoffs. Clemson got a spot with winning. They, SMU still has a chance to go out there and prove to their nation that they're a good team, which they are. I still feel they're the more talented team that was there that night.
Of those two, for sure.
Yeah, of those two, yeah. It's just, coaching plays a lot into it and experience as well.
Yeah. We'll talk about those playoff games next week. Well, we'll get into all the playoff games because none of them start till next Friday night, so it's perfect.
Yeah,
we'll do our weekly 2:00 time slot and or 2:00 on the East, 11 a.m. on the West, and it times out perfectly. That was I'm interested to see how both teams do moving forward. Right, I'm glad the ACC has some representation in the 12, or dual representation in the 12. And we'll see how it goes. Right, we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
The other, well, I guess that was the only one we were wrong. That we were both wrong. The other two that we were both in agreement on was Ohio State and Oregon. Right, let's talk about that one. Ohio State was plus 3.5. They played in Indy. Oregon ended up taking it 45-37 over hit. I don't know if everybody bet it, but that was a nice one. Did you learn anything about Oregon here? Did you or Penn State, I guess, for that matter?
Pretty much what I expected, man. I feel like Oregon is the more talented team. And not only that, they have more experience with, having it all on the line, being in conference championships and that or whatever. Penn State's just recovering from, 10 years of irrelevantness or whatever. They're just now, not only being in the spotlight, but being able to get to that next tier. I feel like they'll be probably better next year and the years following after getting whatever experience they get from this year's championship and playoff experience or whatever. You get to take that and build that with the players on the teams, bringing in new recruits and stuff or whatever. But Oregon smudged it because they're the better team that night. That's just point blank period. More talent, man.
They really do seem better than everybody else right now. You know, I'm interested to see them against some SEC talent. We'll say.
That's why when we preview the playoffs, them in Texas, that's gonna be one now.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Texas. That was a surprising game. There was the other one we agreed on. Sorry. The one we agreed on was Iowa State, Arizona State. That one just kind of went according to plan for us, huh? That was it was we both kind of saw the fastball and put our bat on it. We kind of talked ourselves, right to exactly how it played out.
Yep. Easy money.
Easy money. That's my favorite kind, baby. All right. So Georgia, Texas. We saw this differently. I guess I was biased, right? I was just jaded. But
reason to be, Texas is a great team, bro. Like ain't no slight in them losing or whatever, man. I knew it was gonna be a close game either way. And they even had their chance with Georgia quarterback going down or whatever. Because when he went down, man, I'm like, I'm going to get my credit card out. Goddamn. I thought it was a wrap at that point or whatever, but
he was out there at the end. Like he literally couldn't lift his throwing arm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How's he going to feel in 2 weeks? Week and a half. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Almost a hard 2 weeks.
Ain't no telling, man. Ain't no telling. And then the freshman got popped, so I know he was having some type of concussion or something because his legs and knees was wobbling when he was getting up or whatever. So
they really got crushed in that position.
Yeah. Thank goodness for that defense, though. That Georgia defense was strong, tough, and stout throughout the whole game, man, with that pass rush. I think that was really the biggest difference. Texas couldn't block at those key moments to get those passes off, man, because by the time the quarterback, whether it was Manning or Ewers, touched the ball, he had 2 or 3 defenders in his face or whatever. So that defense is what won that game, man. But that's one of those games they could play 10 times out the year, and ain't no telling who would win what, bro. Because those teams it's just talent.
I'd be dialed into all 10.
Right.
Yeah. So we did pretty well, bro. We did pretty well. All right. So I figure since next week we're going to be focused on these playoff games. I figured this week we should just kind of run through all the bowl games, all the rest of the bowl games, all the non-playoff games. Most of these games we don't care about, but I'll go through them. And if anything that you're, anytime you want to stop and dive in, you want to know the spread, you're curious about it, you got some thoughts, like, let's go. Don't hesitate to chime in, But as I was getting this list together, it kind of made me sad. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's a lot of bowl games, and there's a lot of teams that are in bowl games, and Florida State is not one of them. And I don't like that. It makes me very, it frustrates me and angers me. And I don't want this feeling anymore, ever again, actually. So I just I know nobody really watches us or listens to us, but I would like to take this moment to express my distaste for how this season went down and expect better out of them. Expect better out of Florida State, on the field, on the preparation, coaching, fans, everywhere, all around. I hate to say that this is karma catching up to us for kind of being whiny ass bitches when we didn't make the, when we lost our quarterback and didn't make into the playoffs, whether we should have been there or not, you know what I mean? We weren't, and we didn't need to be such dicks to people about it. And I think that this is, it's just karma, right? Like we deserve to get kicked in the balls after some of the shit we said about a lot of people that wasn't fair, and none of, that shit was just mean, and it's mean spirited, and we just didn't take it well. And I get it. We were, as a fan base, we were upset after last season, and we felt left out. And we should have been in there. We definitely should have been in there. But we also did. We could have been classier about how we all reacted.
I agree with the reactions and the class in this, but karma or not, at the end of the day, there's standards that have to be met whenever you step on a football field, and those standards were not met. I can see if we went, 7-5 or 6-6 or something, and okay, karma, yeah, we whined or whatever. But
I mean, even if we had 4 or 5 wins, like this would be, like, I'd at least have a little bit more. Like we had 2 wins, and one was against a very small school.
Exactly. So to that point, there's standards that have to be met when you're at Florida State. At Florida State, we should at least be going to a bowl game. We should at least be winning 6 games out of the year. When that doesn't happen, then we need to see major changes. We need to see major effort, and we need to see progress. Point blank. Period, man.
You're absolutely
This is a top tier program in the United States, bro. I moved out here to Arizona and found out there's people on the West Coast that grew up watching Florida State and knowing about Bobby Bowden and everything about our program and stuff or whatever. So we're not. We have standards that have to be met. So if you can't meet them, then we will find someone who will. And that's to anybody. That's to anybody, from the water boy to the coach to the athletic director or whatever, man. Everybody can get it when we're not getting it on the field.
Real talk. All right, well, let's go through some of these bowl games. Like I said, anything that piques your interest, you let me know. It starts. I mean, it's go time. This starts tomorrow. The Celebration Bowl. South Carolina State versus Jackson State, always one of the most fun bowl games experiences if you're able to do that one. Salute to Veterans Bowl. South Alabama versus Western Michigan. There's the Frisco Bowl with number 25 Memphis, former team that the previous employer of our head coach. They made a bowl, and they're playing West Virginia University, who are announcing today that they have rehired their old head coach, Rich Rod. The Boca Raton Bowl, right up the street from me. James Madison versus Western Kentucky.
Okay.
They got bowl invites. The LA Bowl. That sounds like a good time. Number 24, UNLV versus Cal. We beat Cal. They were the other team that beat this year. We beat them.
Bowling, though. They're bowling. Right.
Bowling. We are not bowling. That's really, man, this list. Like I told you, I put the list together. I started getting sad. How many teams are going bowling and we aren't? Let's see what else we got. The New Orleans Bowl, Sam Houston versus Georgia Southern.
Okay.
The Cure Bowl, Ohio versus Jacksonville State. I think that's where Rich Rod just left.
Okay.
I think that's where he was his most recent stop for this season. What else? The Gasparilla Bowl up in Tampa, right?
Tampa.
That's UF versus Tulane. That's an easy.
Could have did better with that. Yeah, that's a setup win for Florida.
Yeah, and it's gonna feel good being right in Tampa, just surrounded by. It's gonna be like, swamp on steroids. It's just a bigger stadium. It might not be bigger. Raymond James might not be bigger.
I wish they would have put either Florida or Miami against Colorado. That's what I would have loved to see.
That'd have been a fun one. We'll get to Colorado. Myrtle Beach Bowl, Coastal Carolina. That might be their home. That might be their home field, actually. Coastal Carolina versus UTSA, the Roadrunners. Versus Texas. San Antonio has a bowl invite. Florida State
doesn't.
The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Northern Illinois versus Fresno State. That's the blue field, right? In Boise. They play that at Boise State's stadium, right? The Hawaii Bowl. That'd have been a fun trip. USF gets to go on it. They're going playing against San Jose State. The Game Above Sports Bowl is Pitt versus Toledo. Pitt had a pretty good year this year, man.
Oh yeah.
Watch out for them next year if they keep progressing, head in the right direction. What else we got? The Rate Bowl. It is Rutgers versus Kansas State. Rutgers and Kansas State are playing in bowl games. Florida State is not. The 68 Ventures Bowl. Shocking that they couldn't find one more venture. Shocking, all right? But the 68 Ventures Bowl is Arkansas State versus Bowling Green. You can't spell bowling without, or wait, how do you say that? You can't say Bowling Green without bowling. Right. The Armed Forces Bowl. Navy versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma, not a good season. They still got an invite somewhere. The Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Tech versus Vanderbilt.
ACC SEC matchup.
Both teams had like above expectation kind of seasons. Mm-hmm. That's a very good bowl matchup. Somebody did a very good job with the invites on this one. Shout out to the Birmingham Bowl. I wonder what the spread is for the Birmingham Bowl. We're gonna have to look that one up. All right. I will. I have to put a little check mark to have a look at that one later. Let's see. Which one was that? Birmingham Bowl. So now we're at the Liberty Bowl, Arkansas versus Texas Tech. And then the Holiday Bowl. Number 21, Syracuse versus Washington State. They're going to have a way different. Washington State is going to be part of whatever the new Pac-12 iteration is next year, right? That's going to be interesting. What happens when they bring all those teams over from the WAC or the Mountain West or wherever they're from. Yeah. The Las Vegas Bowl. That would have been a great one. If they got invited to the Las Vegas Bowl, I would have talked you into meeting me there. Right
up the road. Hell yeah.
There's going to be a party too, man. It's USC versus Texas A&M. They're all having a good time without us. Now, they're not all the bowl games are worth saying yes to, right? Because I don't know if you, it kind of defeats the purpose if you're going to go to a bowl game and freeze your ass off. But same day, you got the Fenway Bowl. At least they're going. Same day, you got the Fenway Bowl and the Pinstripe Bowl. So cold weather baseball stadiums. The Fenway Bowl up in Boston, you got UConn and UNC, which is interesting because Chapel Bill can show up in Boston, very friendly crowd. He can work the room, a little baby shaking and hand kissing.
That would be funny to see,
right? He just starts politicking. He just starts working the room, So that's interesting. I might at least tune in for a little bit of that just to see some shots of Bill Belichick in blue, or light blue. Then we got Pinstripe Bowl down at the Yankee Stadium. You got Boston College versus Nebraska. Shout out to the Nebraska Hour.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good game. But both of those teams are pretty good, where I kind of felt they might have left a win or two out there this year, The New Mexico Bowl, you got TCU versus Louisiana. And the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I used to love that. Number 13 Miami versus number 18 Iowa State. You want to take a little? We can take a little break and talk about this one. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah,
we watched Iowa State last week because we were dialed into the Arizona game. The Arizona State game, the conference championship game. The spread on this game is 1.5. Miami is actually. It opened at 1.5. Miami was getting 1.5. Now Miami is the favorite. They are minus 3.5.
That's it. Wow. I think that's easy money right there. Yeah. Miami.
You like Miami.
Yeah, man. You see what Arizona State just did to them last week or whatever. Miami has talent. They only lack talent on offense, and I don't think Iowa State has Miami's defense is where they lack at. I don't think Iowa State's offense is that explosive enough to expose that. Versus the other side of the field where Cam Ward and the boys is gonna have a field day with Iowa State defense. So yeah, and then shout out to Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders and all of the guys that are stepping up and playing in these bowl games or whatever. Even though they're not in the playoffs, even though they know they're going for to the draft and stuff or whatever, still playing for your team, playing for your numbers. I understand it's a business and nothing against the ones who sit out and making those business choices or whatever. But shout out to Cam Ward for stepping in there and being a team player. And it's like, I'm going to go out there and lay it out on the line or whatever.
Yeah. Also, it's a last chance to add to the game tape. This is going to be the last thing they see. I mean, besides the, what do they call the combine, the underwear Olympics? Besides the underwear Olympics or pro days or whatever, this is the last actual game opportunity before draft day. Easy to say, and then something happens. But obviously, we want everybody to stay healthy if they're about to get kicked up, right? So I understand the concern. I'm not mad at anybody who chooses not to play. Everybody's got to make a decision,
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm kind of there with you. But I think if you like Miami, you want to bet it now. You don't want to wait until you don't want to wait until the 28th. I mean, that's what, 2 weeks away. That the number's already moved 4 points from where it opened. I suspect it's going to go up to 5 probably by kickoff, if not 5.5. So if you like Miami, bet them minus the 3.5 right now wherever you find it.
Yep.
All right, let's look at the last couple matchups. Oh wait, there's a bunch more because there's a ton of bowl games and we still aren't going to one. So that was Miami of Florida. The Arizona Bowl is Colorado State versus Miami of Ohio. And then the Military Bowl, NC State versus East Carolina. I always like that when the smaller school from the same state plays against the bigger school, because those guys played against each other in high school, and they're pissed off they didn't get the look that the other guy looked or got, and whatever. I love that shit.
Right. Did you know the Arizona Bowl, who's presenting it this year? It's Snoop Dogg, and it's the Arizona Gin and Juice Bowl or whatever. Presented by Gin and Juice, my bad.
Wow.
Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice.
They dropped their own pre-canned cocktail, Gin and Juice. Both him and Dr. Dre have big stakes in the drink.
Yeah, shout out to the album just dropped today too.
Yeah, Missionary, it's pretty dope. If they want to sponsor the national show, we do not have a canned beverage sponsor. So holler, we could have gin and juice every week while we do the show. Just saying. And if not them, any other drink wants to get involved, holler. I like staying hydrated. I believe in hydration.
Right.
All right, let's keep it rolling. The Alamo Bowl. This is a good one, actually. The Alamo Bowl is number 17 BYU versus number 23 Colorado. All right. It's good because, just like you mentioned a minute ago, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders will be playing. I am, and BYU is a good team. Like, that's a good opponent. They take every game seriously. Those guys most of those guys aren't going pro ever, right? They got other plans, and so that's a good one. That's definitely a good one.
Oh yeah.
Then we got the Independence Bowl, Army versus Marshall, and the Music City Bowl. It is number 19, Missouri. I apologize. I robbed the Army of their cred. 22. They are ranked 22. Shout out to Army. It is very rare that the military academies get ranked. Right? They have a whole different admission standard process. They're not going crazy on NIL packages and benefits or any of that stuff. So the fact that they are ranked 22nd right now and going to play in a bowl game, bravo. And thank you for your service.
All of that.
What I mean? All that. You guys.
There's some universities out here that's not ranked and not going bowling at all this year,
Yeah. Absolutely. Big ones. You like Florida State? So we also have, we're getting down to it. We're almost done. Let's get there. The Music City Bowl, number 19, Missouri versus Iowa. And those two teams just dislike each other to begin with. So that could be a good game. Neighbors, neighbors never like each other. And then ReliaQuest Bowl. I don't know what ReliaQuest is, but this is a good one. It's number 11, Alabama versus Michigan. It is a rematch of last year's national championship. Anybody that cares about Alabama football will be up for this game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much anger. And then Michigan came out this year looking all flat. Like there's going to be so much trash talk
Hmm.
From the Alabama crowd at the Michigan crowd. Like it's going to be ugly.
The Michigan, coming off of that last win against Ohio State, so yeah, proving, hey, we can pop you one in the lip real quick, like.
It's a
So you
ten and a
never
half
know,
point
man.
spread. It's a ten and a
Hmm.
half point spread. I am inclined to think Alabama actually covers that, but the number's going down. It opened at 13 and a half, and it's getting bet towards Michigan. So I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
what I think is you let that number go down a little bit. People thinking just along your what you just said. People thinking along the same
Hmm.
lines. Oh, they just got Ohio State. You're
Yeah,
not really
yeah, yeah,
factoring that.
yeah,
That's like a
yeah,
blood feud. That's like a whole nother
yeah.
level. If all of a sudden this number gets down to 9.5, 9, 8.5, 8 by the time the game starts, then I hit Alabama. I want
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
lowest number I can
Uh-huh.
get. So I'm
Right,
gonna wait and wait and wait and wait. You
right. Totally agree.
Um, the Sun Bowl, Oval versus Washington. Citrus Bowl. You got number 15 South Carolina. I'm sure they're bummed out. They're not in the 12. They had a really good end of the year. If they had one more win somewhere, they'd be solidly in there. But
Hmm.
number 15 South Carolina versus number 20 Illinois. Then there's the Texas Bowl where LSU is playing Baylor. And the Gator Bowl, number 14 Ole Miss versus Duke.
Okay.
And there's the First Responder Bowl. It's North Texas versus Texas State.
Wow.
I can't believe all these teams are playing in bowl games and we're not. The Duke's Mayo Bowl. Although that's one that's just stupid and fucking dumb, and Mayo's disgusting. So I don't want to
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
that
yeah,
shit. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Minnesota versus Virginia Tech. Whatever. I don't want to watch them play football anyway. They're kind of the mayonnaise of college football. So that's
That's funny.
perfectly
That's
casted
funny.
right there. And finally, a game that I could very quickly get to. 20 minutes, quick, nonstop. Right here to Nassau, baby. It is the Bahamas Bowl.
Jamaica, Bahamas.
Unfortunately, it is Liberty versus Buffalo, and I'm just not interested. So,
Yeah, yeah.
there it is. That is the bowl season this year. All those teams are going to bowl games.
All of them teams, that long list, all of those bowls from Idaho potatoes to Liberty City Music to
To whatever the fuck a Relia
Alamos
Quest is,
to fucking Pop Tarts.
I used to love the cinnamon ones when I was a kid. That
Oh
was my shit. I wouldn't
man.
have any of the ones with the fruit flavors, but the ones that was cinnamon or like the maple
Yeah.
syrup and cinnamon, that was my shit.
Then wasn't there a Sugar Bowl at one point?
I don't remember that.
And Nokia's
Oh yeah. The Nokia
Sugar
Sugar
Bowl.
Bowl. They played it in New Orleans. I went
Yeah.
to it one year. Florida State played LSU. I don't know. I was drunk as fuck because it's New Orleans.
Yeah.
I was there for New Year's Eve. I had a good time.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
All right, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'm just tired. Just reading all those teams and reading all those games and just like thinking about how we missed the mark this year.
Not only missed the mark, man. Look at all the movement that we've had just within this week with Luke transferring out. That
Yeah,
is one of
dude.
the biggest alarming things that I see because it's like it's beginning to look like we never have a future at quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect out of Castellano. Is that I think that's
Castellanos.
Castellanos. I
Castellanos.
forgot
Yeah.
there was an S at the end. He is quite familiar with Gus
Gus Malzahn's
Malzahn's
system. Yeah.
system, so that at least makes the transition to the new offensive system go a little smoother when one of the guys in the room is familiar with it, and
Yep.
while they're working on it next to each other, he can also help explain and stuff like that. And maybe it might be a situation where he's the opening the opening week starter, but you know,
Yeah.
later in the season, somebody else is ready to take over or something like that.
Yeah. My biggest question is DJU. Like with Gus Malzahn coming back, why the hell are you still on the roster? Because he doesn't fit the prototype quarterback for that offense at all. He's immobile and he's big. Normally, Gus has a small, athletic type quarterback or whatever. Remember the kid he put in the NFL at defensive back or whatever that he also almost won a title with. I forget his name, whatever. But that's the type of quarterback, which is what Castellanos falls under. That's, as you stated, which is the exciting part about it. But fuck, dude, we're gonna have to start hitting some, people out of high school, and not only hitting them, keeping them. I'm tired of. Seems like year after fucking year now, we get a 4-star or 5-star and at quarterback. They're there for a year, maybe red shirt, and then they're in the portal the next year.
Well, listen, I think we have to take. We have to help. Like you and I, we have to help, right? And I think the move will be to continue, obviously, paying attention and making jokes from afar as we do, and continuing to do this podcast and maybe finding some people to start watching it and finding a few people to start listening to the show when it goes out as audio only, format, and maybe going over to a soon to be launched location where some very stylish items, clothing items and other types of items might be able to be purchased. And I think maybe we have to start raising some money, not just to cover production costs here at National Inc. Not just to cover some production costs, but also so that we
talent,
can
NIL, baby.
Yeah, we can put that money together and hand it over to in the form of some NIL checks to some people that we want to see stick around. I think that should be our focus. Whereas other places are giving NIL deals to people they want to come and join the team. I think we should find the guys we want to keep around. We got a deal for you. Boom, we got a deal for you, right? So that should that should be our lane as an NIL for our NIL efforts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we got a big
National collective.
Yeah, we got a big off season, bro. What that means is we have to get people to start watching this on YouTube. Mm-hmm. We have to get people to start listening to it as an audio only property.
Like, follows, shares,
comments, we need all that. All that, everybody. We need your help with all of these. Every step along this milestone, we're going to need your help. We are also going to need your help with selling a bunch of national gear. Yes, so that we can go take it from one account to the other account, and then maybe we can figure out a way to do maybe there's a way to involve any viewers or listeners in helping us decide where it goes.
Yeah.
What players or what position group, or maybe we can do something like that. I don't know. We're just spitballing here, man. No bad ideas, baby. No bad ideas. Right. We just want the team to be better, and if there's something we can do, let's do it.
Yeah. National Save a Nole. Let's save a Nole. Let's save them, baby. This is
the national Project Save the Noles.
You ain't got to go nowhere, baby. We can give you $500 a week and a box of Popeye's chicken, baby. Come on.
Project Save the Noles. Bye. The National Show. That's what this is. This is the National Show. We appreciate you guys listening, watching, whatever you're doing, however you're consuming it. We really appreciate it. Please share with everybody you know.
Please.
Yes, you can. All right, I guess it's time to wrap it up. You can check us out. We have a Linktree page. It is /Nationoleshow, National Show. And on it, you will find links to everywhere we exist. The National Show is co-produced by Broham and B. Yappin as part of the Bet Your Ash podcasting network. It is available as an audio-only product presently at betyourash.com or the Bet Your Ash feeds on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're listening on either of those platforms, please like, rate, review, share, follow, subscribe. All those things are incredibly helpful. Like I said, you can find us on Linktree. Gangstaville also has a Linktree. It is Linktree/GAINSTAVILLE Gangstaville.
Yeah, boy.
If you ever need me to sub in on some tracks to do your ad libs, I love that. It's like it brings so much joy to me when I get to say it like that. You know? On his platforms, go to his Linktree. You can get to all of his social medias. You can also find links to all of his music. His latest album is called The Desperado Code. It is awesome. It is available everywhere. Please listen to it on all of the platforms and like it on all of the platforms, because that is the best way to support your friends that make music, if you have any. And yeah. And I think that's everything. We covered everything. Social.
Yep.
We'll be back next week, regular scheduled time. We'll talk about the playoffs. All right, cool. And go Noles.
Go Noles.
And you have just finished listening to the National Show with Gangsta, Fizil, and McGee.